Let's get back to that $1.7 trillion spending bill. Republicans set to take control of the House in 12 days, but Democrats are trying their best to pass this bill with nothing to address border security in the bill. What's in there doesn't actually do anything to secure the southern border. Again, we are just days away from Title 42 potentially be rolling back.
Yeah, joining us now for more is former Pennsylvania Senator and Newsmax chief political analyst Rick Santorum. Sir, welcome back to Wake Up America. I want to start with Utah GOP Senator Mike Lee, who proposed an amendment to add Title 42 to the bill that he says is filled with Democratic priorities, but nothing on the border. So he's asking, he wants this up and down vote. I guess my first question to you is, what is an up and down vote, and how does this play out, you think?
So an up and down vote is a vote that would allow this amendment to come to the floor with 51 votes being able to be the passage. So in other words, just a simple majority can add this amendment to the spending bill. What the Democrats are proposing, and this is often the case, is that you have to get 60 votes. In other words, you have to prove that you have a filibuster-proof majority of the amendment. So that what the Democrats are saying is, we're going to filibuster your amendment, but we'll allow you to vote it. If you can get 60 votes on the amendment, then we'll add it in. And Lee and the Republicans, thank goodness, are saying no. That's not right. This amendment is supported by a lot of Democrats. Maybe not enough to get to 60, but certainly enough to get to 51. And we're not going to back down. And this is classic Senate brinksmanship. And the nice thing to see is that Mitch McConnell is standing with Mike Lee and basically saying he's not going to concede that they have to reach the 60-vote threshold, that the Republicans are going to stand for a simple majority for this amendment, because this is a Republican priority that is very, very important. And I just want to congratulate all the people across the country who are pounding away at the Senate right now, letting them know that they're not happy with this big omnibus bill. And I think it's getting through, and it's evidenced itself in this amendment.
I hope, Senator, that it's getting through. There is the possibility, again, Kevin McCarthy and company take over the House in 12 days. We could see maybe a continuing resolution to get this sort of kicked down the road into the new year. Mike Lee's got real problems with the fact that we're concerned with, to the tune of $45 billion, Ukraine's sovereignty and the sovereignty of other nations, Jordan, Lebanon, Tunisia, Egypt, and Oman. I had to look at a map to double check where Oman was, but there's nothing in the bill with regard to the crisis at our own southern border. In fact, the language states this: the bill expressly prohibits the Border Patrol funding from being used to improve border security, our own border security. Again, can you explain how that makes any sense?
It doesn't make any sense, and that's why this is such a potent issue. I don't give the Republicans much credit for strategy and how they negotiate and how they work through these pieces of legislation. Generally speaking, the Democrats eat our lunch on these things, and but in this case, they've picked the right issue at the right time, and they have made this not about a government shutdown. They've made this about security in the border. So if there is no omnibus bill by midnight tonight, Mitch McConnell has set a deadline, and he has reiterated over and over again he's going to stick to it, that if there is no Lee amendment and it's not given 51 votes, then there will be no omnibus bill, which means there'll be a continuing resolution into the next Congress, which will give the House Republicans a lot more sway over what this big spending bill looks like.
Right.
Now, I will say that, one of the reasons that we're here is because you have a bunch of House Republicans who are basically saying they're not going to vote for anything, and that they want some sort of government shutdown. That's the reason McConnell and the Republicans, many of them, are willing to vote for this big bill, because they see the House Republicans, enough of them, that would just cause a complete collapse of anything going on in Washington, which unfortunately there are a bunch of Republicans now in the House who I consider sort of nihilists who say, well, that we're better off if nothing happens in Washington and there is no spending and they're just emergency provisions. And that's the rub. That I know people are being critical of Senate Republicans, and they should be, but they need to be critical of these House Republicans who are basically saying we're going to shut the whole place down, because it's causing what you're seeing happen in the Senate.
Yeah, but if you look at the bill too, over 4,000 pages, I don't know if anybody has read it. And some of the things we talked about it that are in that, we are in debt. We have a crisis border. We have interest rates going up, and it just seems to be that the Democrats just want to spend, spend, spend.
Yes, they do. Yeah, but on the other side, Republicans, the reason most of these Republicans are supporting this bill is because of the money for defense.
Right.
The Biden administration has just destroyed the Defense Department with all this aid to Ukraine and not backfilling to prepare for our own military needs, and, by the way, Taiwan, which is another important country that we need to support. So there's legitimate reasons for Republicans to support this omnibus bill because of the defense provisions, but there's just too much bad stuff in this bill for this to go forward.
Yeah, Senator, and you know about the timing of this thing. Every year we go through this. There's always pork in these bills. They got to stop doing this before Christmas and New Year's. People just want to. I'm looking at the list of senators that are yes votes. Look, they just want to get on their planes before this winter storm hits everybody and go home and celebrate the holidays. So they'll vote yes on anything right now. And I always hate the timing of this bill. Do it in July.
Well,
you know,
it's a deliberate tactic. This is not a defect. This is a plan that the Democrats always use to get all of their junk at the end of this year. They should go through a process where they're passing individual appropriation bills that are debated. They're big, but they're digestible, and the public can actually understand what's in here. But that's not what they want. They don't want transparency. They don't want openness. They want Christmas goodies. When nobody's watching.
There's a lot of goodies. There's a lot of goodies, like $800 billion worth of goodies, some that make absolutely no sense to me. All taxpayer money, by the way, so it's our money. Senator, have a Merry Christmas if we don't see you. Thanks so much for being on with us. We appreciate it.